You have heard the jokes. Nobody walks around with a microscope. No customs officer has ever stopped you to inspect your wrist. So you tell yourself the fake Rolex problem belongs to street vendors and gullible tourists, and that your watch, the one you paid full price for, is untouchable. But here's the uncomfortable truth. The person most likely to be wearing a fake Rolex right now is the person who paid for a real one. Let's set the stage with a number that should not be possible. According to the Federation of the Swiss watch industry, roughly 40 million counterfeit watches are put into circulation every single year. The entire Swiss watch industry, every brand combined, produces about 30 million genuine watches in the same period. Read that again. The fake industry now outproduces the real one. Black market analysts at Habascope estimate the trade generates around $1 billion in profit each year, roughly 6% of the Swiss watch industry's entire export value. And it gets worse when you zoom in on the crown itself. Rolex builds around 1 million watches per year, carefully controlling supply, which is exactly why demand and waiting lists never die. Industry estimates put the number of fake Rolexes entering the market at roughly 1.6 million per year, and that figure only counts what investigators can actually see. More fake Rolexes are born every year than real ones. This is not a leak in the market. This is a second parallel production line running at full speed, and every one of those watches has to end up on somebody's wrist. And here is where the game changed forever. For decades, spotting a fake was a party trick. The steel looked too gray. The seconds hand ticked instead of swept. The printing on the dial was sloppy. One researcher found that counterfeits across luxury goods have increased by 10,000% in 2 decades. But volume was never the scary part. Quality is. Watchfinder, one of the largest pre-owned watch specialists in the world, a company that has been filtering genuine watches from fakes for over 20 years, says that just 5 years ago, about 80% of fakes could be identified simply by looking at the outer case. Today, that number has collapsed to 20%. 8 out of 10 modern fakes now require a full, in-depth inspection, opening the case back and examining the movement before an expert can call them out. The ratio did not merely shift, it inverted. The trained eye, the single instrument the entire secondhand watch trade was built on, has quietly stopped working. And almost nobody outside the industry has noticed. So where do all these invisible fakes actually go? Not to the beach towel on the tourist boulevard. Those obvious $200 props still exist, but they are the decoys. The dangerous ones flow straight into the pre-owned pipeline, the exact place you would go to buy a used Rolex because the waiting list at the authorized dealer pushed you there. Watchfinder's own chief executive admitted that up to 10% of all watches sent in by sellers in a single year turned out to be fake, and half of those fakes were Rolexes. A 2023 study by the same company estimated more than 23 million counterfeit watches already circulating in the United States alone, with New York topping the list of cities where the most fakes are sold. Some estimates suggest that around 20% of Rolexes offered on the private market are not genuine, and a survey of 2,000 British adults found that a third of them had been scammed with a counterfeit item within 12 months. Over a third of those victims bought the item pre-owned, yet only 5% of pre-owned purchases went through a specialist retailer. The fakes are not hiding from the market anymore. In entire corners of it, the fakes are the market. But the pure counterfeit is not even the most dangerous species out there. That title belongs to the Frankenwatch. This is a watch stitched together from mixed parts, a genuine case wrapped around a replica dial, a real bracelet on a cloned movement, salvaged Rolex components combined with counterfeit ones. Some are honest restorations gone wrong. Others are built deliberately because a watch that is half real defeats half of every authentication checklist. And here is the twist most owners never learn. In Rolex's own eyes, a single non-Rolex part makes the entire watch a counterfeit. Your authentic watch can legally become a fake on the workbench of a careless neighborhood jeweler. One study found that around 12% of watches submitted to auction contained mixed components. Even the giants get burned. Omega famously paid $3.4 million at auction to buy back a rare Speedmaster, only to discover later it had been assembled from parts of different vintage watches. A Swiss manufacturer was fooled by a Frankenstein version of its own product. If the people who build these watches cannot always tell, what chance does a private buyer really have? Which brings us to the machines doing most of the fooling, the super clones. These are not costume jewelry. Enthusiasts have run X-ray fluorescence scans on the best clone cases and confirmed genuine spec 904L stainless steel, the same corrosion-resistant alloy Rolex markets as oyster steel, with matching levels of chromium and nickel. The movements inside are full architectural copies of Rolex calibers, with bridges, gears, and screws in the same positions, so compatible that genuine Rolex parts can be installed directly into a clone movement. The factories replicate the laser-engraved reho, the serial numbers, even the finishing on the clasp. In Dubai's replica trade, these watches change hands for $1,500 to $2,000, complete with counterfeit boxes and papers carrying real store information. Seasoned collectors who went hunting for them admitted several pieces would have fooled them outright. Within the replica underworld, there is even a term for the top tier. Watches so precise that enthusiasts argue buying the genuine article no longer makes financial sense. And watchmakers have publicly described fakes that passed through authorized dealers before anyone caught them. The people being deceived are no longer amateurs on vacation. They are the professionals the entire system relies on. Now here is the dirty secret about the arms race. Every defense the brand builds becomes a blueprint for the other side. In the 1980s, Rolex added hologram stickers to the caseback to fight counterfeiters. Within about 3 years, convincing fake holograms were shipping on fake watches. In 2002, Rolex began laser etching a microscopic crown into the sapphire crystal. Today, that etching is a standard feature on high-end clones. Since 2002, genuine watches carry a serial engraved on the reho, the inner bezel ring, and the best fakes now carry one too, sometimes copied digit for digit from a real watch. Every security feature Rolex has introduced in 40 years has eventually been reverse engineered, which means the brand's anti-counterfeiting budget has functioned in practice as a research roadmap for the factories copying it. The counterfeiters do not need to out-invent Rolex. They only need to follow it, roughly one product cycle behind forever. And unlike Rolex, they never have to pay for the original research. And make no mistake about who is doing the following. This is not a lone forger in a basement. The epicenter of counterfeit watchmaking, according to the Swiss Federation, is Guangdong province in China, where industrial facilities run multi-axis CNC machines, and some production lines reportedly sit alongside factories making legitimate components for the legitimate watch industry. When the specialized Swiss machinery is too expensive or too protected to buy, the counterfeiters simply counterfeit the machinery as well. Law enforcement has repeatedly linked the trade to organized crime networks. Distribution is just as industrial as production. The overwhelming majority of seized counterfeit Swiss watches, by some counts 97%, arrive through ordinary postal parcels, deliberately mislabeled as toys, bracelets, or cheap electronics, in packages too small and far too numerous for customs to ever screen completely. In one record year, 90,000 fakes were confiscated in Dubai alone, and American authorities have seized well over $500 million worth of counterfeit watches in a single year. Remember, those numbers only reflect what was caught. You are not up against a scammer. You are up against a supply chain. So what is left for you, the buyer? There are still tells, and they still matter. A genuine Cyclops lens magnifies the date exactly 2.5 times, where fakes often come up weak, small, or blurry. Modern Rolex lume is chromolite, which glows blue in the dark and holds its brightness for hours, while the generic compounds on clones start just as bright and then fade fast, dropping visibly within the first hour. A genuine steel submariner weighs around 155 grams, and cheaper alloys betray themselves the moment the watch hits your palm. The seconds hand on a genuine modern movement sweeps in roughly 8 tiny steps per second rather than ticking once. Under real magnification, genuine hands are polished to absolute perfection, while clone hands show jagged edges and dust particles trapped in the luminous paint. But be honest with yourself about what this list actually is. It is a checklist for catching yesterday's fakes. A Frankenwatch built around a genuine case defeats the weight test, the steel test, and the engraving test all at once. A super clone defeats most of the rest. Your last line of defense was designed for a war that has already moved on. Maybe you are thinking, so what? If nobody can tell the difference, who's actually being hurt? The comment sections call it a victimless crime. The numbers disagree. The Swiss Federation puts the industry's losses from counterfeiting at roughly 1.9 billion euros per year, and analysts tied the trade to the equivalent of more than 2,500 lost jobs in a single year. The $1 billion in annual profit does not flow to craftsmen. Investigators have repeatedly connected counterfeit production to organized crime, along with documented concerns about labor abuses in unregulated factories. And there is a quieter victim the statistics barely capture. Every convincing fake that enters circulation is a landmine waiting for an honest buyer. Somebody eventually pays a genuine price for that watch. Maybe the third owner. Maybe the widow selling her husband's collection. The deception compounds silently with every resale until the day a service center opens the case back and delivers the news. Then there is the risk nobody in the comment section wants to believe, because no officer has ever stopped them personally. In Italy, the law explicitly targets the buyer, not just the seller. Purchasing counterfeit goods there can bring fines running into thousands of euros, with reported penalties reaching 7,000 euros and, in serious cases, the possibility of jail time. Switzerland prohibits bringing counterfeits across its border even for strictly personal use. Customs can confiscate the watch on the spot, and travelers are asked to sign a declaration of surrender before the item is destroyed. France issues fines that can reach thousands of euros and runs a dedicated cyber customs unit tracking counterfeit parcels. Will you probably sail through? Statistically, yes. But understand the bet you are making. You are gambling a wristful of contraband against a fine worth more than a genuine date just. In the one region of the world that treats possession as a personal offense, on your way through the airports of the country that invented the watch you are imitating. So how do you actually protect yourself in a market this deeply compromised? Start with the seller, not the watch. In 2022, Rolex launched its certified pre-owned program, under which used watches sold through authorized dealers are authenticated by the brand itself and delivered with a certificate of authenticity, a 2-year warranty, and a sealed tag. It is, in effect, Rolex admitting that the secondhand market could no longer police itself. Independent authentication. Before any money moves is the next layer. A certified watchmaker opening the case back, verifying the caliber against known genuine references, checking serial numbers against documentation. Insist on service history and treat pricing psychology as a red flag in both directions. Because sophisticated sellers now price fakes just under retail precisely so the deal never looks too good to be true. A suspiciously small discount has become as dangerous as a suspiciously large one. The era of buying a Rolex from a stranger on the strength of your own 2 eyes is over. It ended the moment the 80% became 20%, which leaves us with the strangest consequence of all. The fakes have become so precise that they are starting to damage the real thing in reverse. Dealers report that flawless, genuine watches now sometimes strike buyers as too perfect, and therefore suspicious. Collectors lock their authentic Rolex in a safe and wear a clone on the street, meaning the fake does the living while the original does the waiting. And every buyer who gets burned tells 10 more people, draining a little more trust out of a market that runs entirely on it. Think carefully about what was actually stolen here. Not the design, not the steel. What the counterfeiters took from Rolex, and from every single buyer, is certainty itself. A Rolex on the wrist used to be a fact. Now it is a claim, and a claim is only as strong as the paper trail, the seller, and the watchmaker standing behind it. So here's the question I want you to answer in the comments below. Knowing that even the experts get fooled, would you still buy a Rolex anywhere outside the boutique? And what would it take to convince you it was real? If you want the truth behind luxury's biggest myths, subscribe now before the next illusion sells out.